This is game number 4 out of the round of 5. So I just randomly picked game number 4. It was a smaller
Sure,
file size, so I figured it's a smaller game.
sure. Let's do it. Let's see who gets trampled. Oh, who
Okay.
gets trample damage? It's
Exactly.
Byzantine.
Do you want to talk about while they do the Dark Age? Do you want to talk about like Byzantine, like what you know
Sure,
about the
sure, sure.
defensives?
Yeah.
Okay, chalo, I'll play.
Yes.
Hey everyone, we're here to talk about Game 4 of Yo versus Leary. Fatal was telling me that he got this game because it has the smallest file size. So I'm like, let's see who gets trampled or trample damaged the fastest. That's a Byzantine's joke for those who don't know the imp tech. So let's start with what I know about Byzantines. Byzantines is generally what I call an everything civ, except for Chinese. I think they're the civ that has pretty much every technology. I believe they have siege on Ager as well. And yeah, looking at their bonuses, they have, they get their buildings get more HP. So Byzantine castles are a pain to knock off because they get so much HP, like 30% in castle, 40% in imp. The camels, skirms, and spearmen are cheaper, so they're very, very good at trash wars. Ignoring navy bonuses, going to imp is super fast. So fast imping with Byzantines is really easy because it's cheaper to go up. And I think that's the main thing. Cataphract is a very, very good unit, but extremely expensive to get to end game. So I'm doubting we're going to see any of that here.
Is that their
Uh,
castle unit?
yeah, that's the castle unit. So it's like a paladin type of unit. It says it's anti-infantry, but the main thing is in imp you get a tech called Logistica, which does trample damage. And that means people next to it get damaged a lot more, and it's a pretty big deal. It says does +6 attack against infantry. So imagine getting pikes and doing +6 attacks, like you can rampage through. But it costs 800 food and 600 gold, so it is not cheap. And looking at Cataphract, I think Elite is like 1,500 or something like that. Yeah, 1,200 food, 800 gold. So it takes ages to. That's a late game tech. So I doubt we'll see Yo playing that. I mean, Yo is probably going to go into a scout rush, or given the meta right now, archers, which hopefully is not the meta for much longer.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't seem like it.
yeah, especially with the new increased cost. What do you think about the new archer changes that have just rumored to be going in?
I'm not a big fan because I think what ends up happening is at our elos, if you are playing archers, you need that cost in order to uh, yeah, signups. I have the logo to be compliant with the T90's streaming requirements. That's why the overlay um, on the stream. So for archers, I think what ends up happening is the moment you get to castle, the focus is to get the crossbow upgrade and get botkin, and then you kind of wait for a while before you do university and you do all the other upgrades like ballistics and all that kind of stuff. So what ends up happening is, let's say if you're facing an army of cav, which is knights. If you get a lot of knights, crossbows with Botkin can effectively help you survive a night raid. You're not going to be in a situation where you've killed all the knights and now you're just going to go in and get into somebody's base and cause a lot of damage. What ends up happening is you have enough archers to protect yourself from a heavy night raid, and then it takes forever for archers to get to the other side, to the enemy base, and do anything. So the more resources it takes for lower elo players to get these upgrades and actually cause any damage, it becomes more challenging for me as a player to safeguard myself against knights. And then if somebody's going knights, then it's going to be more challenging for me to mass archers. I'd rather just go trash and do pikes. Similarly, if somebody is playing Burgundians, then I genuinely don't feel there is a point in me doing archers or crossbows at all, because they are going to get their heavy cav upgrade in Castle Age, and my crossbows, if my eco is not good, I'm just not going to be able to sustain the damages caused by them. So for me, I'm not a big fan of the nerfs that the archers are getting by increasing the cost, because at my elo, my eco is not the best. Like 50 food, 100 food, or 50 gold doesn't matter as much to the pros because they can just do the math mentally and figure it out. But at my level, like if I have more gold and I get the upgrade faster, that means I can play a little faster and I have more gold. So I'm not a big fan, but we'll see how it works out.
That's interesting you say that, because I thought that even though it is a nerf for sure, right, it's 50 food and 50 gold. Right? That's not a ton. Like that's like one villager and like one archer.
Yeah.
So do you really see it making that much of a difference? Like I thought, okay, it's a pain, but not significant.
So what ends up happening is it becomes a challenge about which upgrades do I prioritize. So 50 food is one villager. So either I do a villager or I do one of the eco upgrades, or now I have to idle my TC a little bit while I might have the food but I don't have the gold.
Got
So
it. Mm-hmm.
now I have to idle my TC so that I get the upgrade. So I just feel like at my level I will end up doing a lot more math in trying to figure out what makes
Got
sense,
it.
what doesn't make sense. So that's kind of why,
It makes a difference.
yeah, I'm like
Yeah, yeah,
apprehensive.
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's for people who actually do follow build orders and I'm not YOLO like me, who's like, oh yeah, two villagers here or there, what difference does it make? So I
Yeah.
guess I need to look at BOs a little more seriously. But going back to the game,
Yeah.
we're already seeing some things happening. So let's comment on Celts before we're too far in the game. So the Celts, they're definitely known as an infantry siege civilization. It's made most famous by Huang, the streamer. We've seen tons of T90 games that Huang plays. It's pretty crazy that he's reached, I think, over 2000 elo just playing Celts. Like when you see Age of Statistics and other similar websites to see stats for civs, he literally single-handedly has skewed the statistics for Celts because he plays it so much. And I've seen him destroy pretty much every pro, whether I've seen Hera games, Viper games, T90 games,
Yeah.
like all of them, have trouble against him because he's just so good. Like rushing into like Pike Mango or something like that really makes a difference because starting Feudal Age, his infantry moves 15% faster, Lumberjacks are 15% faster, so you get wood quickly, and then Siege fires 25% faster. So with Mango, you can really do some quick damage. And then eventually the team bonus of Siege Workshops being 20% faster also lets him spit out mangoes really quickly. So it's pretty cool that what you can do with
Yeah,
Celts
and you were saying it's infantry, and we see Leary coming with
with Man at Arms.
with the man at arms trying to cause damage. And see, if it's like even though Yo is does he have?
He
Yeah,
got
I
his
don't think
first
he has
archer.
Bodkin yet. He doesn't have fletching. Okay, fletching's coming in.
Yeah, it's a little early, but yeah, I mean he has even one archer will take out two Man at Arms so easily. He has three. Yeah, those are dead for sure. I mean he's just probably going to make the archers walk around.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then
more of
these
a
skirms, like
oh
these
my god. Oh,
two skirms
nice.
in themselves can cause so much annoyance for an archer player. It's for me. I've started changing my early game to always either have a few skirms in the mix because I end up losing skirms. I end up losing two skirms, some quick walls over there. It's so this is going to be an infantry play. I've seen Huang do his Huang rushes where he just sells resources and goes up to castle and then drops a siege workshop and then just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing till the other person is just annoyed and being like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, and then when you start pushing the TC and castle lane, you're left with only the corner to go to, right? So if Leary in blue starts attacking red from the front, which is what he's doing, red doesn't have much space to go. He'll go back, maybe left or right if he escapes, but then you kind of get stuck and keep getting pushed towards the corner.
Yeah. And
So
let's see how many production buildings do they have? Are they only producing from one barracks and one archery range?
yeah, maybe you can zoom out a little.
Are there any eco upgrades, eco bonuses that Celts get?
Lumberjack's 15% faster.
So if the lumberjacks are 15% faster, that means they have slightly more wood to come up with whatever archer range.
Yeah, and you can see like Leary has 11 on wood, but Yo has 14, but then Yo is also making archers, so.
Yeah. Interesting. So it's 15 minutes, and both of these people have a decent amount of army already.
I mean, 6-7 skirms is insane, right?
Yeah. And just having them run around, which means right now there is no wood coming in
That will
because
should
this
die.
wood line is
Why?
pretty.
Why is he not hitting that will?
I think just seeing. Okay, so they'll go back to this wood line, whereas then Yo is
Yeah.
going to go here. So would you
Oh,
prefer?
but that's like you see he's towering, right? So he
Yeah.
does a double protection. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I was asking, what would you do in this situation? Would you prefer to just kill the wills that you are exposed to?
I mean, I would have taken a shot or two for sure. Like, unless he was hoofing it to the other one to get there quickly before the tower. But like, I would have hit that villager a little bit, right? He could do some pretty serious damage, and man at arms are super powerful. Oh, that was good. Right? Yeah, here, right? You can at least get 2 wills.
Yeah, easy.
So it's actually kind of weird. He's not hitting the wills at all. It seems like he's more focused on harassment. See, he didn't even get a single will. Oh, he got one finally.
But you see how Yo has completely stopped making archers and is just going skirms because
Scum.
skirms very easily destroy
Yeah.
archers in feudal. I mean, he
Yeah.
has 2 ranges and he's just going skirms to defend against this.
Yeah, I guess he can't go stables because that would be too painful. A painful a switch and too much resources.
Yeah, doesn't even have the resources to drop a stable right now. Some idle wills here. The eco is they have, and I think Yo got housed for a second there. Yeah,
So
he's
good to
housed
know it
right
happens
now.
to the pros as well. But yeah, I mean, what I find fascinating is how much of a trash war they're going for.
Yeah.
And let me check. I think when does the Byzantine bonus kick in? Oh, it's always. So that's the one advantage Yo has. His skirms are 25% cheaper.
which makes a lot of sense for him to go skirms because he can
Yeah.
counter Byzantine archers.
Archers, yeah.
It's only when you get into castle age when you have
No,
a
no.
knight or two or
Yeah.
you have that light cab with an upgrade
Mhm.
when skirms are you can deal with the skirms.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I may have misspoken. Byzantines has the cheaper skirms, so it's cheaper for Yo to make them red to
Yeah.
make them against blue. So, man, look at
It's
that
like some
micro.
good trades over here, but again, it's like
Uh-huh.
it's a pure trash war. I think even there are no more man at arms queued up either. He's gonna be in castle.
This is Synapse's nightmare of a game. He gets to
Yeah.
do trash wars from feudal.
Exactly. It's like 2 archery ranges only, and you can see now because he's committed to so many skirms, he doesn't have the eco to go up, and now he just bought all the eco to go up.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Oh, he just did. That was crazy.
Yeah, he had like 700-800 gold, so he just bought castle age. So that's kind of
That's
the problem that happens. Now these knights are going to cause a lot of damage to these skirms.
Oh, I actually didn't realize that Leary already reached castle.
Yeah, Leary reached
Oh,
castle
this is going to be rough.
because he had enough. Because I think what ended up happening was Yo overcommitted in my mind on the skirms because there was just so much damage happening.
Yeah, Butcher is trying to drive a wedge between casters again. Yeah, he needs to be put on a timeout.
The difference between the two casters is night and day. Yes, because I don't have fresh light in my. I have manufactured light. Hey, Movable, good to see you here. We're doing some game reviews as to how the pros play these different civilizations and what can we learn. And these knights, like just having these 5-6 knights, are going to cause a lot of idle time.
A lot, because he really has nothing to counter it, right? Like spearmen can do. I mean, they can tickle them. But
Yeah,
that's pretty much
even
it.
if he makes, unless they are pikes, I don't think they can do anything because you have
Yeah,
a few
I mean,
skirms.
spearmen still hurt, but not that much.
Yeah, not that much. They won't like make a huge difference. So I'll just pause this. So they went usual standard. I want to say Dark Age was pretty standard. There was nothing that happened in Dark Age. When feudal happened, by feudal, I think Leary had 4 or 5 militia, and he waited till the man at arms upgrade to kick in, and then he started coming to attack and annoy the wood line and the gold and stuff like that. So he went with man at arms. Yo had one or two archers, but they weren't able to do anything because he was countering a few skirms from Leary, and you said that's probably because of the cheaper resources that Celts get. And then Yo had to commit so much to making all these skirms and a tower that his castle age was delayed and he had to buy castle age, whereas Leary got to castle age in time with just that small army, and now he has knights who can take these skirms, and Yo just doesn't have anything. It's an interesting switch of eco. So man at arms plus skirms, and then switch to knights. Whereas if you're defending, you only have the option of going skirms, and then now you're just defending because
Yeah,
these many knights will clear all of this up.
Yeah, the funny part is though Byzantines do get camel riders and they are 25% off as well. So it comes down to whether he needs to catch the knights or not. Do 25% discounted spearmen or camels?
Which makes sense, and that's probably
and that's why he
why,
make it stable.
yeah, probably why the stable to make the camels. Okay, so let's see if how many camels and knights, and then if they continue with this combination.
So you were talking about streaming. Yeah, you can go ahead and turn it on. Yeah, that how you got all this light. How did you get all that light on your stream?
It's the Elgato that I have. That's like I set it to a decent amount of brightness, and now
Okay.
see all these. There were so many pipes. They've all died.
How? Oh yeah, because the knights can just
Yeah.
do that. Okay, let
He
me
didn't
try
have the
this.
upgrade, and now he's losing all these. There we go. There are the camels. Monastery to convert, I guess, the knights.
I'm trying to see if there's any difference in my Elgato, but I don't think
and
so.
see, here's the thing: like, Leary already was expecting monks, and this is one thing that I've seen pro players do a lot. It's a legitimate defense against knights. Coming up with like 2-3 monks is a legitimate defense against knights, because even if you convert one knight, you get that little breathing room that you have in order to just do whatever you want to do, and maybe make one extra camel that will help you, or get your upgrade to pikemen from spears. So I've noticed a lot of pro players do this monk play against cavalry.
Yeah, so and the other thing to remember, it's a twofer, right? Because you get a double advantage. One, they get -1 unit, and you get +1 unit. So it actually hurts them a lot more.
And it also means that you have monks on the field that you can send to collect a relic.
Relic, yeah. Yep, exactly. Those monks that you're forced to delete later because they walk so slow, you can put them to use now.
So it's like we're 25 minutes in game time. Yo is going to have enough stone for a castle, which I guess will help him defend, because he's trying to defend his base. Leary is going aggressive, so he has nobody on stone. And both of the players are trying to do some monk play to defend. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, I think he's just trying to get some defense so that he can relieve the pressure, and then he can actually start making more units and start countering.
So 2 monks to maybe convert the camels, and then you got the Celt siege that you were talking about.
Yeah, I would go after the market or the blacksmith, I guess.
I remember, maybe reducing this one production building will slow down Q, and that's probably why.
Yeah, I would have gone after the market. Like, I don't know the HP difference between the two, but the thing is, the blacksmith is not like, yes, you do need the upgrades, and you don't know if he's gotten all his upgrades yet. The market is what every pro uses, and without that, it's going to hurt a lot.
Market is 2730 and stable is 2340, so you do end up
a little bit. So he could have then see now the market he'll forever have it. So yeah, maybe that's one difference.
After the blacksmith.
Yeah, and which is the building he destroyed then? I thought that was the blacksmith.
He destroyed one of the stables.
Oh, stables. Okay, that does make sense. Okay.
So that's why he was able to maybe slow down. That was probably the strategy that he thought that he can slow down the camel production.
Got it. Yeah, Synapse is commenting on my thoughts about the market. It's actually interesting. I don't like the market that much. I always fear paying taxes on the market. So since like everybody else, I hate taxes. I'm like, no, I'll wait till imp, and then I'll wait till I get coinage and everything, and then I will buy. But I just need to bite the bullet and buy it, buy and sell. So yeah, someday I will use the market.
I've started doing the market a lot more in Empire Wars.
Oh really? Yeah, because you need to go up quick.
Yeah, so these many knights will clear all of this up.
Oh, easy. But like, yeah, I was going to say, why is he not TC diving? He can just TC dive and, oh man, these pros.
And Yo does not even have Bodkin, which means that the
It doesn't
arrows
hurt as
from
hard.
both the castle and the TC are not going to be as effective. Like
Yeah,
everything's
this
cleared
seems
up.
over. I mean, the only thing saving the game is that castle, which does make sense. But now it's a 45-52 will lead, or 52-45 will lead, and now the monastery is going down.
Monastery is going down, and it seems like Yo is trying a raid at the back. But
Oh, I
nothing.
totally missed that.
Yeah.
I think this is going to hurt. You see, he's going to pull them back. It's going to
Yeah,
hurt
he had
Yo
to
too
pull
much.
them back. He's
Yeah.
lost his monastery. The monks on the field are.
Yeah, the one
Healing the-
interesting thing is, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that the monks are also healing
Healing.
these knights, which means that Leary's knights will continue to be more effective.
Yeah. One thing I found very surprising is that I would have kept a little bit more pressure in terms of like sending one or two knights here and there so that he cannot run away like he is over and over.
Yeah.
Right? So that if you just, it's a little bit of a waste because 2 units is 2 units, but if you can close his access off, if you see, Yo was here on the top and now he's gone to the other side on the left as well. If you see the mini map on the left side of, no, actually there's Leary, so that's fine on the left. What is that? On the left side of Yo's base, there's a blue dot there. Yeah, right there
I
on the
think he's
left.
just a
Yeah.
skirm
Oh
annoying
yeah,
the
see, there's
whole line.
something walking over there. So is he coming from two sides?
Yeah. He's got like
Oh,
he's got
Scorm,
knights
that's
coming from
perfect.
here.
That's exactly what I'm saying, right? You need to surround him, so he did do it from the south, which is perfect. Now Yo has nowhere to go. That's what I remember. I was saying that with Keld, if you come from the front and hit them, then they don't have too much space to go in the sides.
And here are your cataphracts. So one cataphract. I don't know if they're going to. What's your bet? Do you think that this army is going to survive? I think these are some good trades.
No, the
for
camels are
Yo.
fine. Yeah, I mean the thing is, if the camels go 1v1 with the knights will all die. But he also has 3 or 4 monks, which he can easily convert. So let me see, what does Cataphract has of Bolins against? Against infantry and condotieros. So, I mean, he can make one, but let me check the AoE app to see how it compares against a knight.
I'm going to pause this because I feel like this is where even though Leary was pushing aggressively, Yo has still been able to hold. And while holding, he has 3 TCs. He has 1 TC here. He has another TC here for this goal.
Yeah.
And he has a castle protecting at least this half of
This
the eco.
TC.
He has 2 markets. I wonder why he made the 2 markets. Was it one for
Yeah.
defense? Maybe a quick
Yeah,
wall
it could be
market?
defense. It could be he thought maybe that will get rammed down. I did
Yeah.
not see that one. So it's actually really interesting. A cataphract is 10 more food and the same gold, but it's trained in 20 seconds versus 30. It has 10 more HP, uh, 1 less melee attack than a knight, but then the bonuses against infantry. And let's see, and 1 less pierce armor. So it's actually a pretty good unit for him right now. At the cost of 10 food, right, you're getting faster production, which is pretty worth it.
So cataphracts are weak against what?
Nothing. They're just like a regular knight, but they have a bonus against infantry, a huge bonus against infantry.
Okay, so I think that would be a good counter. So maybe is that why Mr. Yo picked this against Celts, because he was expecting Leary to go heavier on infantry? But Leary,
Yeah, I don't know if he picked it because it would be a blind pick, right?
I have no idea how the picks were. Maybe they.
Yeah, the picks are blind. So you both have your pools of civs, and then you assume what the other person is
Got
going
it.
for. I don't know which map this is. This is not African
This
crossing.
is. I had that map information somewhere. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's Serengeti, I believe.
Serengeti. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, this one, like, maybe the reason for Celts was mangoes on hills and shooting. I'm not too familiar with that. But yeah, I think that's, I mean, maybe he picked it because Byzantines is it has everything. So it's a safe pick for something like Serengeti. It's also not a good water save. So you definitely can't use, both of them can't use these saves in water. So yeah, but I think the main thing is he's getting pressured. The castle really, really saved his hide, but he's trying to expand. The problem is, where does he go? Right? Leary's got units everywhere.
And Liri's got a very solid KD.
Yeah. Where do you see the KD?
It's in the
Yeah, see
bottom.
to it. Yeah, so he's got 58. I mean, no, where did it go? 58, 29. Yeah, he's got a very good KD that he has 10 more wills, 12 more wills.
Exactly.
And if you look at the army size, right, it looks like 12 versus 26, but those 26 are knight and the 12s are like skirms.
Yeah.
So the quality of army is pretty different. I mean, this seems like Leary's game, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play. So the knights continue to cause a lot of damage, and at
Yeah.
this point of time, right now, I think this was one of the camels that Liri's monks probably converted. This entire TC is right now idle, and he's ungarrisoned them now, and Liri's going to jump back in and annoy. So Celts seem to be very effective even with cavalry.
I mean, everybody is good with cavalry and then castle, right? Because you get all the basic upgrades. After that, it starts differing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if Leary would, I guess Leary can't make infantry in this because against cataphracts they'll die. Otherwise, you gotta finish this off so quickly with the castle and the pajama boys, as some of our friends like to call them.
So this
Uh,
market, oh, game's over. I think Liri is victorious. You called it.
oh, really?
Yeah.
See, this is saying, like, this is really, really tough. Now, this brings an interesting question, right? Something we've been debating with our friends, that when should you call a game, right? Like, this is close. I mean, it is really, really, really tough, right? But I wonder if Yo was able to sneak away, like the TC he has on the top right. If you go to that, the one that's singular, not the one above this. If you go a little little north, the one for Yo. Oh, this is the castle. Yeah, right here. Thank you. Right. So if he took this one, and I wonder if he punted like 20 villages to this and took it a little further away from Leary, and if he was able to get a bit of a second base, then the idea is that you let Leary destroy the main base,
Yeah.
and try to keep attacking the castle and sieging it and stuff, and then you go to the other side and start booming like crazy. Right? It is
Yeah.
tough. I mean, it is Leary. He's won Red Bull Vololo twice, but I wonder if something like that would have been possible.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that. And I think while we were talking, this was a YOLO play by Mr. Yo. Let me go back in time and see. Um, okay. So there are these camels coming, and then Mr. Yo decides to drop, instead of doing another defensive castle on his base. Maybe that's what I would have done. Um, if it was a rank ladder game, I would have dropped another castle in my base, tried to avoid any further aggression from these knights, and then tried to do what you were saying, that, oh, let's set up a different base. But I think from that point on, the lead that the opposition has in terms of their eco not being touched, and you see the monks collecting the
Yeah.
relics, it's very difficult to come back.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
which
and
point,
look at that. That's fascinating. I don't know how that happened, but if you see the dead bodies, like most of them are red.
yeah,
So I think let me check the armor situation. Oh, see, Yo only has one armor, cav armor. Leary has two. That made all the difference. Right? If you look on the top left of the
yep,
screen,
yep,
right, that makes all the difference, and that's why his cav had no armor. So yeah, that like the knights decimated them, and even when like they're equal armor, like yes, obviously camels do better against knight, but it's not like they decimate them like a pike. It's like half to two-thirds the health of the camel is gone, so it's not a crazy counter, and that's what happened here. That Yo took a YOLO play, right? I mean, Yo is in his name, so YOLO, haha. But the point is that like it just didn't pan out, because if he lost his army, it was over. But Leary can quickly replenish. So yeah, I think Yo, instead of going so YOLO, if he had just stayed back a little and made an alternate base, I think he
could
could
be,
have come back. It's
yeah,
tough,
and
but possible.
I mean, at least that's what I would have tried. That if I wanted to stay in the game instead of doing this, I would have probably tried to make another castle somewhere
Hmm.
here so I could protect this wood
Uh,
line and this farm eco, and then just buy myself some time
yeah,
to collect some gold from here. But I guess you're right. Like it's like even if he wanted to get the second
yeah,
armor, he would have needed eco, and he obviously
yeah,
doesn't have any gold. You can
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I did see two of these. Like I wonder what Yo was trying to do with mangonels against knights. I just feel like
I
making
don't know.
mangoes against archery units. Sure, it makes sense, but
Yeah.
when you have
Mhm.
these many knights, they're just gonna jump in and take out the knight mangonel before it does anything.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe the thought was that against a group of knights or maybe monks, right, he can again get a YOLO shot. But the amount he invested in that, right, the question is, what could he have made,
Yeah.
right, against that? And mass camels definitely made sense because there were no pikes there. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I see Synapse saying interesting choice going a defensive civ. Like, I don't know if I would call Byzantine defensive, right? I mean, they get cheaper trash units, but they also get pretty much any unit in the game. So you can then that's the advantage, right? Like he was able to switch around. But yeah, I mean, if I were him, actually, it's really tough. But I probably would have gone knights anyways. It's not like Leary gets a bonus. So knight with mixed with camels was probably his play.
And I wonder if not having Botkin. Well, I guess it's just a resource question, right? If we,
Uh
for me, what I end up doing is if I am getting raided a lot, I
huh.
prioritize these
Archer
archer
upgrade.
upgrades, whether it's fletching or whether it's
Yeah,
botkin, because then my castles or my TCs have a little bit more firepower. But
firepower. Oh,
what I
makes
do,
sense. I mean, yeah.
you know, that
No, like you mentioned, right? He made so many mangoes. One less mango versus Botkin,
yeah,
right? Would have hurt the knights a lot more when they dived under TCs and castles. And even the second castle, like you were saying earlier, if he made it a little bit on the right, if you scroll there between his TC and the archery range, right? That would have been amazing. A
yep,
little bit more right towards the second next TC, the rightmost TC, right? This one, yeah,
somewhere
right
on this
here.
hill.
Exactly. So if you put it right here, he gets a hill advantage and he gets to save his gold, and most importantly, Leary can't keep going between his base. Then he would be forced to go all the way around, which is a huge lap to take. Right now, Leary just kept running between these buildings as it was no problem. So,
Yeah, and this is the other thing that I've been watching a lot of MBL games. So
mhm.
when I used to play, I used to do a much smaller, tighter base because I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, let's protect. So let's wall in my base as much as I can, so I can go and do some quick walls and so on and so forth. But what I started realizing playing the game, whether it is Empire War or whether it is regular um, random ranked match, what ends up happening is if you have a very tight base, once the knights get in or once skirms or archers get in, it is very easy for them to go from a wood line to the gold mine to somewhere else, and they can just run around your base. But if you have a wider base, a little bit of a bigger base, then it allows you to move your eco to a slightly different area altogether rather than just microing wills. And if we see Leary's base, Leary's done exactly that. Like he walled this part off. This was his main TC. He he walled all of this, but instead of walling all of these things or trying to do anything over here, he's trying to expand into this area so that he has more of this base so that he can keep expanding. And even if there were any camels or anything that come in, he can move his base. But if we see, all the action on Yo's base was just in this little area that we have here. And they were on gold, then they went to wood, then they were here, and they just kept moving around here. But to your
Got it.
point, like this TC, and
Yeah.
if Yo kept like expanding here, it would have been even if all the knights went over there, then that would mean that Yo has some time over here to get some eco, get some upgrades. But if the knights are here, then they're here.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
now you don't have gold. Then you suddenly don't have food, and your eco is just completely messed up. So I'm starting to incorporate a lot more of expanding my base broader rather than just keeping it a very tight base to quick wall.
Yeah, I think the tightness of the base plus, like we were saying, right, his buildings, like it just went very interesting. Like he expanded a little bit, but there was no defense with the YOLO castle in the front. So either if you expand, like you're saying, right, then you go really, really far. Like
Yeah.
the left half of the map is unexplored. Like if you'd gone on the left corner, the leftmost corner of the map, there's gold, wood. Just go there, boom up a little. Leary would never know about it. Maybe build a castle. Even more left, actually. If you go a little more left on the map.
Like you see, there is. I think this
Yeah.
is what Mr. Yo is seeing.
Yeah.
And can I switch to what? How do I switch
Yeah.
this?
Let's see. You will switch players, I guess, somehow.
Oh, that just changed the colors. This
Maybe
is.
you click on their name.
Let's see. If I
Oh,
click on the
oh,
name, it just changes the color.
okay, don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea how to see what the
So
players.
can you hover over the eye again? It had a tooltip there. The visible eye symbol.
Shift
Yeah.
plus right click on buildings to
Play on
change
player
player. Okay.
units or buildings.
Okay. Shift and right click.
L0g.
So this is what I think. This is what Leary sees,
Got it.
and this is what Mr. Yo sees.
Yeah.
So Mr.
Got
Yo
it.
has absolutely no idea about what is out here on this map, on this side of the map.
Wait, so is that Oh, he's never even seen it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
see
yeah.
that's see that's the problem, right? Like they say, right? Scouting is key. So if you had sent one unit, just one random skirm, then even then, if you even didn't know what was there, you could have literally gone in the corner and just stood there and done something from far away, while Leary knew nothing about it. So it was tough. I mean, it was
Yeah.
definitely tough, and
There was just so
Leary
much
played.
action happening
Yeah,
on this side of the map.
yeah, very very interesting. Oh, what a game!
Yeah, this was a fun game. I think it was a good game to like quickly watch, learn a little bit about Byzantines and Celts and how pros play them.
Yeah,
I think not doing. I wouldn't do the mangoes. I think if there's something that I wouldn't
yeah.
invest again if I'm playing against Celts, unless I see
Mm-hmm.
mangoes, I wouldn't do the mangoes.
Exactly. Like I mean, I'm surprised. Like I mean, and the funny part is Leary did not do mangoes as well. Leary did rams, which is a very interesting choice, and that's why he couldn't do much with the ram later because he couldn't attack the tower or anything. So because the wills would have killed it. So very
Yep.
interesting game overall.
Yep.
Good choice.
Cool. This was fun. I'm glad we did this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we'll be back next time, hopefully
let's
with a more
do.
low elo game
Yeah, let's do
to
another
analyze
one sometime
next
soon,
week.
maybe next
Yeah.
week, and then we can
So,
actually think through what game we want to do. This was fun. I see Synapse and Butcher in the chat. Hey, movable, enjoy mac and cheese. Do add some spice to the mac and cheese, and if you have any other flavors. There's a restaurant in New York that does mac and cheese in like 10 different flavors. I know Psycho, you probably are like, I can't have any of this, so I don't want to talk
hey,
about
I
any of
have a
this.
vegan mac and cheese with Italian seasoning and smoked
Oh, that's
paprika.
amazing.
So yeah.
Which what's the base for the cheese? Is it almond milk, coconut milk?
I think it varies depending on which ones you get. I mean, I will say I still miss Kraft mac and cheese. I mean that the taste that they have versus like Amy's or Daya, like it's not that great, yet. So we will see. And I see chat commenting about T90 and Dave. Well, D as in dark, and also Dave is bald just like me. So right. So
T90 has a mustache.
yeah, I
I
was
don't
going to
have
say
a.
that.
I think his mustache is more prominent than mine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, always time to grow it out. Depends on
I know,
what the
right?
spouse says, but yeah.
Yeah, Butcher. This is also the food channel. Like everybody talks about food. I know. Jordan talks a lot about his vegan love for vegan food, and pineapple pizza seems to be a common topic for people to talk
Oh,
about.
that is so good. I don't know why people don't like pineapple pizza.
I love it.
Pineapple, prosciutto, and chili flakes. That's the way to go.
Synapse always appreciate you keeping the chat alive.
Who is who?
Awesome, cool.
Cool.
So this was fun, and I think we will be doing our team games in some time. I do have my. There was one more emote of mine that was finally approved. I have like 5 or 6 emotes pending Twitch approval. Twitch approval takes forever for emotes.
Got it.
All right, cool, Psycho. It was fun. I'm glad you were able to make time and join. And yeah, let's plan again. I will edit this video, put it on YouTube, and do everything that I have to do in the next couple of days.
Sounds like a plan. Look out for low elo. Why the heck did I lose this game?
Exactly,
Next week.
exactly. You just lost this game because he didn't expand fast enough and he just invested in wrong
Exactly.
resources.
Yeah, I mean, if only, Yo had listened to us a little bit,
I
he
know,
wouldn't
right?
be, 2300 elo and be 800 elo like us.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. All right,
cool. Okay.
everyone.
See
Thanks
ya,
for
everyone.
joining. Thanks, Psycho. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Talk to
cool.
you guys later.
Bye.